Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a different video than I normally do, and that's because I'm going to be talking to you guys all about eyebrows. Yes, eyebrows, the frame of the face, and something that we have all become a little bit obsessed with. But you know what? I'm actually pretty glad this is happening because I have always been such an eyebrow person, and now I feel like I could talk to anyone about it, and it's pretty cool. This might be a little bit of a long one because I do want to get quite into detail about a couple things. I do have my notes because if I didn't have notes, I would literally ramble on and on about who knows what. So without further ado, if you would like to learn everything about eyebrows and how to get the perfect eyebrows for you, then just keep on watching. So being that there are a couple different things that I want to touch on, one of the very most important things that I do need to emphasize with you guys is that one eyebrow shape actually does not fit all. And the reason for that is because we all have different face shapes. So the first thing that you have to do before filling in your eyebrows or reshaping them, which I don't exactly recommend doing if you've never reshaped them yourself, I do think that you should go to a professional that knows what they're doing and knows exactly what to look for in your face to make your eyebrows match you best. I mean, I made the mistake to do that all on my own, and I think the very first time I did it was in 7th grade, and I had some short ass eyebrows for the longest time because I wanted to make them even, and it ended up really bad. You want to go ahead and identify what kind of face shape you have. For example, me, I have a round face shape. Some of the more common face shapes that there are the round, the oval, which is the one that we kind of all go for when doing contouring and doing our makeup. There is the square face, which means that your temples and your jawline are the same. We've got our heart-shaped faces that basically look a little bit like a heart, where the biggest part of your face is kind of your cheekbones, and it kind of tapers down to your chin being quite a lot more narrow. Now, learning that, you might kind of understand a little bit better why not every single face shape will work with the same shaped eyebrow. For me, having a more round face shape, I actually benefit from a lot of angles in my eyebrows. And what I mean by that my face can handle a more arched eyebrow and a tail that comes down a little more rather than out. Someone that does benefit a lot from a tail that goes out a little bit more straight, or what we like to call straight brows, is someone with an oblong face that has a longer face, and their face benefits from a sort of cut off that breaks their face up into two parts. Not necessarily like you're not cutting it all the way out, but it makes that illusion that you're cutting the face off a little bit, and it makes it look a little bit shorter. And now people with our heart or diamond face shapes, which is pretty much the same thing, where your cheekbones are the most prominent and a diamond has a little bit of a stronger chin. Regardless of the fact it tapers down a little more at your chins, and your chins look a little bit smaller than the rest of your face, you actually benefit from a more round arch because you're not putting any really strong dominant features up onto your already very dominant half of your face. And that is the reason that now all eyebrow shapes work well with all face shapes. I do have a couple examples right here. This is what I consider to be a more rounded arch. This looks very nice on a lot of people too if you think that a higher arch is not for you. And this is more of a straight brow, which is also beautiful. And like many people do like to say, it is up to you. And if you have a heart-shaped face and you want to rock that really high arch and you feel like you look bomb as hell, then you go for it because it's your face. And makeup is really kind of all about making you feel more comfortable. So if you feel comfortable with it, then you can kind of just go with it, really. Another thing that I would like to go into is your eyebrow color, because as we all know, not every color looks right on every person because of their skin tone, or say because of their hair color. And it's really not that big of a deal at all. But a really good rule of thumb to go by is if you have light hair, then you want to go only a few shades darker. And if you have more dark hair, then you want to go a few shades lighter. So if all of this kind of sounds like a bit much and you're just like, whoa, I'm not trying to sit here and look at my face, try to figure out what kind of face shape I have, and all this other crazy stuff, then the next trick I have for you will be perfect. And I have found that this works really well with pretty much everyone I've used it on. And that is using your actual face symmetry as a guideline to the placement of, say, where your eyebrow starts, where your arch should be, and where the tail of your eyebrow should end. And I'm about to show you, I basically just did, but I'm about to explain everything to you right now. So the very first thing that you want to do when you go ahead and fill in your eyebrows is figure out where you're going to start your eyebrows. For this, I'm going to be using this NYX Micro Brow Pencil, and this is in the color Espresso. You're going to go ahead and line your tool, whether it be a brow pencil or say a eyebrow brush. You're going to go ahead and line it up on the outside of the ball of your nose, so right here. And that is going to show you where your eyebrows should end. Now mine does go in a little more, but that's okay, because the only thing that really does is actually slim down the center of your face, making your nose appear a little bit more narrow and skinny, which I'm not complaining about. But that being said, you do not want to go ahead and make this part of your eyebrow harsh whatsoever. So now that we have identified where our eyebrows should start, where we should start making sure that we fill it in, we can go ahead and figure out where our arch should be located. And the way to do this is by going ahead and lining your tool, your pencil, your brush, whatever you're using, back up to that point of your nose, and you're going to go ahead and look straight and make sure that this completely crosses your pupil through the center. That is where I want to build my arch at. And now you can go ahead and figure out where the end of your tail is going to be. And the way to do that is by, once again, lining up your tool, your pencil, your brush back up to the point of your nose and making sure that it goes right under your eye, as so. So now that we've got our points pretty much mapped out, we're going to connect the lines. You want to go ahead and make a straight line going from here to the bottom of your arch. I do like it a little more thin on my arch so that it can appear more structured and defined. So you go ahead and make the line completely straight all the way through up here. Sometimes lifting the eyebrow helps to stretch the skin and provide for a smoother application. I'm also going to go ahead and do the same up top, and I'm not going to take it any farther than that first line up top either. And then I'm going to go ahead and connect the arch to where the end of my tail should be, lining the bottom also. And now you've got the shape of your eyebrow down. And now that you've got the shape of your eyebrow mapped up, you can go ahead and fill in all of the lines. Here I'm using just short strokes to kind of simulate brow hairs, and this also helps to make sure your eyebrows aren't never too harsh. And then the spoolie is a magical tool that you can use to go ahead and make sure you blend out all the lines in your eyebrows. Just like when you're doing your eyeshadow, you do not want to see any lines in your eyebrows. So you can go ahead and use the spoolie and just run it through them. And this will make everything look nice and faded where you want it to be. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that point. And there is my eyebrow, but I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, I do not like my arch that hot up at all. You do not have to stress out and make this part too very perfect, because we are gonna go back in and define our eyebrows a little bit just to give a really crisp, clean look at the end with just a little bit of concealer. Definitely gonna have to fix this arch because it's a little bit too much. You can do a little bit of fine tuning, looking from a little bit from more of a distance and making sure that your face looks even. After you've got your eyebrows filled in to your liking, you can go ahead and set them. I'm going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel. And you do want to be careful with this particular one because it's very strong. A lot of people don't like it because it makes their eyebrows feel crunchy, like if you really had gel in it. But that's actually the reason that I like it, because it definitely keeps my hairs in place. So I do go ahead and take off a little bit of the product, and I just comb up and back. With this, the natural growth of your eyebrows, and if they like to get curly or crazy on you, it won't mess up the shape of your masterpiece. Now the very last step in perfecting your eyebrows is going ahead and cleaning up the edges with a concealer and a nice flat brush. Here I'm going to be using this Maybelline Fit Me in the color Light, and I'm just going to go ahead and dip the brush in. I like to do it on both sides. I feel like it makes it a little bit more firm in a way. And you're just going to go ahead and clean up any imperfections. Like I said, raising your eyebrow helps for a very nice and smooth application. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, because this step is supposed to help you perfect the look, and you don't want to go ahead and mess it up instead. And I'm just blending that down, and this also acts as a very nice brow highlight. So a mistake that a lot of people make when doing their eyebrows and going back in to define them is that if they want to define the tops of the eyebrows also, they go ahead and use the same concealer. And the reason that that's not very flattering is because it's going to give you a highlighted eyebrow look all around, and that's not very flattering. It makes the eyebrow look very obviously drawn on. And well, duh, yeah, we have a lot of makeup on, but we want to make it look like we don't have a lot of makeup on. So the solution to that is using a concealer or your foundation that is your skin tone. Here I'm going to be using this MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, and this is in the shade NW25. I use this shade of concealer more for color correcting, but if I'm careful enough and light-handed enough, then I can make it blend in much better than a lighter concealer. And I'm gonna just use my finger to blend that out. So now we've got a beautiful defined eyebrow without it looking highlighted. And there you have it. You've got perfect eyebrows.